Hi, my name is Sara Cooper, and this summer I had the pleasure to be the Slater Fellow in Theatrical Development in beautiful Creede, Colorado. This was my lovely place where I worked, Creede Repertory Theater, known affectionately as CRT. Creede Repertory Theater has been going on for 50 years, celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and it was founded in 1966. So Creede Repertory Theater works a little bit differently than other theaters, and in Repertory it produces 7 to 10 plays happening concurrently, rotating. So that means that they have improv shows, musicals, new plays, and educational programming all happening at once. So it also has a huge economic impact on the city of Creede, and it reaches 40,000 people annually, which is a lot considering that the actual population of Creede is a little under 300 people. So CRT accomplishes quite a bit for such a small theater. So unlike some other fellowship experiences, I did not work on one project, but rather I worked on several projects happening concurrently, matching the needs of a very evolving and fast-paced development department. And so here were some of my smaller projects that happened throughout the year. I helped plan, run, facilitate our opening night receptions, which were essentially parties for the community to celebrate every single time we opened a show. And these involved working with caterers, setup, planning, etc. I also, throughout the year, did donor cultivation, and this was probably the biggest part of my job, and it happened on and off the clock. So networking, we did a huge brochure run in which we visited local communities and networked face-to-face with different local businesses and theaters. But then we also, every single time we talked to somebody on the street, shared a smile, shared a conversation, we also gathered new donors and new supporters that way. The other big thing in terms of donor cultivation was our fundraising. And there were two main projects this summer in terms of fundraising. We had a silent auction, which was highly successful, and we also raised $50,000 in 4 days in honor for our 50th anniversary, and that donation was matched, which means we made $100,000 in a little under 4 days. So that was a really incredible opportunity this summer to be able to be a part of. And here I am with some volunteers. Other ongoing projects included grant writing. I did extensive research into CRT's 5 different educational programmings. These include children's improv shows, a touring children's show through rural communities in Colorado, and devised classes that they offer for kids. So I researched all the education programming and wrote a grant about it and ensured us funding for future education. I also worked every single morning at 8 a.m. on our changeover crew. And what that means is I would physically help move one set off of the stage and put another set up on the stage so we can use our spaces wisely for repertory theater. And this highly, highly advanced my technical skills, and I can lift much heavier objects now. So some larger projects, which were my favorite projects, included giving theater tours and writing pre-show talks. So these things are pretty self-explanatory. I gave all of the tours of every single theater building we had, which is 3. And I gave tours from as small as groups of 3 people to as large as 40, including some of our founders. So it was really an exciting opportunity to research and learn the history of CRT and Creede, and then to be able to share that with others. In pre-show talks, I also researched, wrote, and performed myself over the different shows that we were doing. So for our town, I researched Thornton Wilder and the background of our town and how it applies to the community of Creede. And I put all that together and did a pre-show talk, which we would give to the community every night before the show. So one of my biggest jobs was the Street Fair Jubilee Party, and you might recognize Millicent Martyr, who just graduated last year. And what the Street Fair Jubilee Party was, it was a large end-of-the-season celebration that happened on our main street. And it included several different kinds of theatrical acts, a live band, music, etc. And so for this, I volunteered to plan the stationary acts, which were interactive theater performances that audience members could engage with at any time during the night. And some of these performances included Millicent Martyr as Soapy Smith, selling soaps at Soapy Smith's Soapbox, and Poker Alice's Poker Challenge. And all of these were based on Creede's historical characters. And so I wrote and developed these pieces and cast them, which really made the director and me quite happy. And we had an awesome result from these. The viral marketing for these specific stationary acts was through the roof. We had a great response, and we fundraised as well. And it wasn't all work at CRT. It was actually such a fun summer, and I got to be involved in things such as being on our 4th of July float, which is kind of silly, but really great. So it's hard to encompass all I learned in 8 weeks at CRT. My professional knowledge and insight is through the roof. I learned not only how a theater company actually runs, but how I could help a theater company run, how a theater company sustains and grows and develops. And I learned audience development techniques such as the soft ask. I also, I also had a great deal of personal growth and acceptance, and realizing that theater is actually my passion and I can make a career out of it. The professional connections that I made at CRT are also exceptional, and it includes several old Cornell alumni, including my site supervisor, Maggie Schlunt. So I had a great reassurance in my career at my time at CRT, and my future is an accomplishable dream. And it also tied directly into my BSS, which is Directing Theater for Social Change. I came to realize that theatrical development and audience coordination is theater for social change in motion, and it was an incredibly rewarding experience. So Creede Repertory Theater and Cornell have not only made my dreams a reality, but made them a tangible future. I was also blessed and lucky enough to be offered a job right out of college working with CRT. I would like to thank my donor, Robert Slater, and his wife, Dixie Slater, who were Cornell alums, as well as my site supervisor, Maggie Schlunt, and my boss, Elizabeth Zern, my supervisor, Kat Auger, and Janine West and Jim Van Valen here at Cornell. Thank you all.